I think for me, having a designated office is very helpful. I think, so I have it set up that I have like 3 little areas where I can, like, this is where I do my computer work. This is where I do my things where I need to stand and cut things. And then this is my sewing area. Like I've got little, things, which is really helpful in terms of like organizing my mind. And I also, what's really nice in terms of helpful now is that I go for walks every evening, like a couple of miles, like I stay 6 feet apart from everybody, but yeah, going for walks, and I'll call somebody. I'll usually have it lined up maybe like the day before or something, like, hey, you want to do a walk and talk tomorrow? And I'll just walk and, catch up with somebody. It's really helpful for socializing and for exercise because, like also what's really helpful is a standing desk, one that raises and lowers, for me, because I have like scoliosis, back issues, whatever. That's where like I hold my stress, is these different points in my back. And so if I'm stressed out, like I'll feel a tinge somewhere and I'll be like, oh, I need to stand now. And so I'll stand and, kind of do some exercises standing while I'm working. And that's, having a standing desk is really, really helpful.
So my kids are 4. Cognitively, they are at a very typical level. So we have been using very generalized terms and utilizing a lot of the wonderful social stories that are kind of floating around online right now. A couple of great authors and artists have come up with some easy to read, quick to scroll through social stories for small children. My kids have always been most engaged with reading, so we kind of made sure that we took that strength that they had and we slipped it into the conversation about this. My focus right now is age-appropriate information and not focusing on fear. There are a lot of adults right now who are experiencing a tremendous amount of understandable fear. And that's not something that I want to necessarily bring more into my home. Like you said, a lot of us are limiting how much media we're consuming and trying to keep our homes as peaceful as possible. So I'm just making sure I'm doing that the same way. I do want to emphasize that we don't ever lie to my children. We do our very best to present things factually. And so we have had very upfront discussions with them that they have initiated. It's not something that we have, brought forward to talk to them about. But if they have questions, we answer them honestly. And at the very end of everything, we always emphasize that mommy and daddy are doing their absolute best to keep them safe.
But I definitely think talking about risk reduction and what we're doing and giving children a sense of calm and safety in their own homes right now, I find to be important, at least for Buster. And so we do what we can. We talk to him about what he can do. And then, to be honest, I leave some of it outside. Some of it he doesn't, I don't think I need to share with him, even at 11.
So the age range that, where I know at least in New York and other states I lived in, it's birth to 3. It's usually covered by the county that a child lives in, where they can get services. And to get services, kids can or parents can ask for a doctor's script at their appointment, at their visits, and request an OT, PT, or speech evaluation. I feel like it's super important. A lot of times kids get flagged for services later, which is what we typically see. We see the kids there later on, but the earlier you can start working on the skill, the better it is. Whether even if you might think it's something small, just get them the help now.
So we really wanted to bring something to parents that was super easy for them to be able to just go through and hit the 4 main areas that we are testing generally, or that we'll refer out for testing. So speech, feeding, fine motor, and gross motor. Oftentimes parents are looking for their kids to talk and walk. So those are kind of like the things people are always looking for directly, but there are so many other things that feed into those skills. and that tie together, like feeding and speech, or visual motor and fine motor, or gross motor and visual motor skills, and reflexes. So these things all tie together, but most times my kid isn't talking, my kid isn't walking. But oftentimes there's so many other things that tie into that. So we really wanted to get something to parents that was really easy to check off, go mark when they hit it, and then just be able to identify things that were missing that were kind of key components.
I know a lot of parents are in a lot of support groups. So I know on Facebook, there are, even just in Westchester, New York, where I am, there are many support groups for families. But some are diagnosis specific, some are just general, like special kids, parents of special kids. And I know a lot of parents connect on there to ask for help. As far as the epidemic is concerned, if your child has existing therapies, still continue to reach out to therapists. That way we can support you as best as we can. I mean, my dining room table has now become my treatment room, and I'm just trying as best as I can to give parents ideas of what to do with their kids at home that I treat personally.